Hello everybody, this is Kyle Ott, of course, for Draft Radio, coming at you with yet another journey into next Born of the Gods Theros draft. Not my favorite block, but I mean, hey, we've still got to deal with it until M15 comes out, so that means putting in more work and doing some more drafts for you guys. Sorry guys, allergies are continuing to kick me around like a redheaded stepchild, but that's okay. Also, I apologize if that offended any redheaded stepchildren. Wow, grammar sucks. Anyway, we've got some good stuff to talk about in this pack, certainly. I do like Spire Spine quite a bit. I mean, this is a card that I've actually won games with just Spire Spine, because they can just kind of bestow him and get some good hits in. He's not a terrible card by any stretch of the imagination, and the drawback is you're often able to get around the drawback pretty easily. I mean, now granted, there are some flaws in it, like if they have a Death Touch creature or something along those lines, but generally speaking, it's not too big of a deal. Gnarled Scarhide, on the other hand, has a much bigger drawback, but I like the creature part of it that much more, plus the bestow's cheaper. So, I mean, they're both fine cards. Hubris is pretty great. I've talked about my love for balance in this format numerous times. I can't tell you guys how important it is, like in a format where there are so many just decks that win by piling on bestow creatures onto a single guy and then going off to the races, that bounce actually becomes pretty unbeatable. But Dictate of Heliod is just an absolute beating. Being able to flash Anthem or flash double Anthem is pretty broken. So that's the card we're taking. There's also a Bloodcrazed Hoplite and a Grim Guardian, but and Starfish, Cyclops, and Ravenous Laquisha are also good mentions, as is Kyora's Dismissal. But Dictate is what we're taking. Well then, there's a Doomwake Giant as well, which I like a lot. Just a great card. Really respectable body for the casting cost, especially in black, when you don't normally get guys that have this level of power and toughness for their mana cost. I mean, he comes into play, he does work, it lets us set up for a nice little Constellation sub-theme if that's what we would like to do, and there's really nothing else in the pack that's close to it in power level. Spiteful Blow is fine, as is Dacromystic and Grim Guardian, but Doomwake Giant is what we're taking. Okay, so there is really the best card in this pack is not white, although I do like Quarry Colossus quite a bit, and an Eagle of the Watch is certainly fine as well. Although I've never really played with Eagle of the Watch, but every time it's come down the field, I'm like, huh, that's a fine card. So that's generally my impressions of Eagle of the Watch. The cards that I'm looking at, however, are Pharika's Chosen. I talk about this a lot, but ground-based Voltrons just cannot beat Death Touch. And 1 mana, you get a 1/1, you get some good stuff happening. I like it a lot. There's also a Pin to the Earth, which is probably what I'm going to take. Pin to the Earth just destroys everything in this format. It's just like, hey, do you not want to have a threat anymore? All right, cool. Plus, if we decide to be blue-black or blue-white, I think that puts us in a good position. So, I like Ajani's Presence very much. Great combat trick. Certainly a good card, but I think Pin to the Earth is just the best card in the pack still. I mean, this just deals with this. This might as well be a removal. And maybe I'm overvaluing Pin to the Earth. Certainly, you guys can tell me in the comments if I am or not. But I like Pin to the Earth quite a bit. And in blue-green and blue-white and other decks like that, you just need a way to reach out and touch somebody, and Pin to the Earth is about as close as it to you're getting. I'd like to see this Thassa's Devourer wheel. I don't mind playing the mill deck in this format. So, and that's a second Doomwake Giant. Well then. Wow, so this must have been some pack. Because, I mean, it's not like there's a lack of playables. There's a Thoughtrender Lamia, which is fine. Resco Swiftclaw, which is awesome. Magma Spray, which is great. Flurry of Horns is playable. Feast of Dreams is decent. We're just going to take a second Doomwake Giant and kind of smile about our luck. Really like Doomwake Giant. I'm happy to see Pharika's Chosen here. Mogus's Warhound is pretty fantastic, too. But, you know, Pharika's Chosen it is. Grim Guardian is good. We could take the Thassa's Devourer and really just go in for that mill plan, although I think it's just smarter to play the Grim Guardian. I like Grim Guardian more than I like Thassa's Devourer. Who am I kidding? I want to do the mill thing again. But, I mean, I do, but I am going to take the best card in the pack, which is Grim Devourer, I think. Or not Grim Devourer, Grim Guardian. I'm looking at Gluttonous Cyclops and thinking of what it's doing, which is devouring, and you guys know how that works sometimes with association. Brain Maggot impresses me quite a bit. I mean, it triggers Constellation, so that's always very good. However, it's not certainly the best card. There's also a Squelching Leeches, which I've played, I've been impressed with, but again, not necessarily the best card. Rotted Hulk is playable as well, but again, we're going to take Hubris. Stops the monstrosity too. I forgot to mention that. Hubris bounce is really good in this format. Ooh. We're going to take another Hubris, I think. I do like Gnarled Scarhide quite a bit, and I love Sigiled Starfish. Don't get me wrong, I love me a Starfish, but Hubris is pretty sweet. Dacrymystic is perfect for what we're looking for. I think we're trying to set ourselves up to be a little control-y. Dacrymystic lets us say, if it's good for me and bad for you, I'm going to draw it, and you're going to draw a crap. If it's good for you and bad for me, we're both going to discard it, and I'm still essentially filtering my draws, and I can trade it early on with Oresco Swiftclaw, which I will absolutely do. There's nothing worse than being on the play, having Oresco Swiftclaw in hand, and then having your opponent play a 1/1. Especially when they play terrible cards like Triton Shore Thief, which is just not a good card, or Triton Shore Hunter, the one mana 1/2, which I've seen some people play, and generally it's just garbage. Actually, not generally, it is garbage. You should not play that. You're better off playing an 18th land. Unless your opponent has a ton of X1s and there's just... Yeah, if the general rule for drafting, for those of you that are newer drafters, is the more that it takes in your head to justify playing a card, the worse it probably is. If it takes you a while to come up with a scenario in which that card is playable, it's probably really, really bad. I'm going to X out of my Steam because this is starting to get annoying. Actually, I'll leave it up. It doesn't really matter. We're looking really strong right now. I mean, we've got 2 Pin to the Earths, 2 Hubrises, so we have tons of ways to interact with the board. Freak is chosen in Dacrymystic, nice little early game there. Grim Guardian and Doomwake Giants to trigger the constellations. I'm not going to play Tormented Thoughts as it's terrible. Font of Fertility is fine. Market Festival are fine. I'm just going to take Swarmborn Giant. Ooh, we get Rise of the Eagles as a potential finisher. I like Rise of the Eagles quite a bit. Although Kyora's Dismissal is really good. And there are numerous 6-drops, I think. Actually, I think I want Kyora's Dismissal. We can bounce our guys, maybe bounce their guys, get some value. Yeah, Kyora's Dismissal is actually pretty good as a sideboard. We'll take Fontivire as Tormented Thoughts is absolute garbage. And Solidarity Among Heroes is also pretty bad. But, unless you're in the hyper-aggressive Heroic deck and everything you've got can be ticked up with Heroic, but even then it's still pretty bad. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 cards. 10 playables going into pack 1. I like that noise. So what are we looking for? Competitive 2-drops. More win conditions. I wouldn't mind seeing Herald of Torment. Darn it. Okay, no Herald of Torment. We do get a Bonafide Bomb in Oracle's Insight. I mean, it's going to trigger the constellation we've been talking about. Wow, I am stuffed up. Whew. And it's also going to get us a ton of incidental card advantage, which I like quite a bit. Although it really does burn to have to pass this Fellhide Spirit Binder, as it's one of the better cards one of the better draft rares in the format. But what are we hoping to wheel? Grizzly Transformation, Floodtide Serpent, maybe. If we get a couple cantrips, I wouldn't mind having Floodtide Serpent, but Oracle's Insight's what we're taking. Phenomenal card, really is. If you've never played with it, this card will absolutely break games. Okay. Wow, this pack is insane. Holy mackerel. We've got a Servant of Timuret. We've got Retraction Helix, Sudden Storm, Asphyxiate, Bioblight, Nyxborn Eidolon, which I wouldn't mind hoping to wheel. We're actually going to take Bioblight, though. This is just incredible removal in this set. I like it a lot. Instant speed, kills a lot of the targets that we kill. We've already got plenty of bounce, so we don't need... So Retraction Helix is, less of a consideration. I love Sudden Storm, don't get me wrong. Sudden Storm, one of my favorite cards in the format, but it's better in tempo, and hard removal is really good. So, and it's Bioblight is actually, I think, better removal or better combat trick, depending on the situation, than Asphyxiate is. That instant speed... And plus, it just does an earth-shattering amount of damage. So, there's that. There's a Nyxborn Eidolon, which I hope wheels, or a Servant of Timuret. If any of the 4 cards, the Asphyxiate, the Timuret, the Servant of Timuret, the Sudden Storm, the Retraction Helix, or the Eidolon wheel, I'll be happy. Sorry, I said those a little fast, guys, but those 4 are what we're taking. We're taking the Bioblight. Good removal. Okay, then. Under most circumstances, we would be taking Nyxborn Triton, as I love it. It's a card that is easily worth its casting cost as a creature, and a phenomenal, phenomenal bestow card. But Holy mackerel. That's an Arbiter of the Ideal to go along with our 2 Doomwake Giants. Man, there's so many bombs in this deck. And we got an Asphyxiate. Perfect. Again, we've already got Bounce. Sphinx's Disciple. We are the deck that would want to play Sphinx's Disciple because we're a little bit slower. Especially Sphinx's Disciple plus Oracle's Insight is just such a sweet little mini combo. But we're going to grab the Asphyxiate. Hard removal is hard removal. So, we can't really... Beggars can't be choosers about that. There's a Stratus Walk and a Necrobite, which I like quite a bit. Both cards, phenomenal pieces of... Wow, I say phenomenal a lot. Sorry. Both cards are fine in their own right. Again, Sphinx Disciple and Floodtide Serpent are there. Although I think the pick for us is going to be Black Oak of Odunos. We really just kind of want to hold down the ground a little bit till we can get our bombs out. We're really aiming to be the control-y deck, and Black Oak is certainly a great card. So, Demo Lock is insane, I think. There's a Siren Song Lyre, which is fine. I honestly think I'm just going to take Deepwater Hypnotist. It's a passable 2-drop in a format where you need passable 2-drops. And, whether you're blocking or starting to get a little early aggression going on. I don't mind passing Demo Lock. If this was like an Ornithark or something, like one of the really big scary ones, then I probably wouldn't pass it. But I like Deepwater Hypnotist, so that's what we're taking. Mind Reaver is pretty bad. Crow and Skyguard is super late, and I don't know why it's still here. We're actually going to take Airy Worshippers. Oracle's Insight plus Airy Worshippers is an insane mini combo and an interesting alternate win condition for our deck. Plus, Airy Worshippers is going to put those enchantment creatures onto the battlefield. Let us get a little more incidental value out of our Grim Guardian and our 2 Doomwake Giants. Oh, those 2 Doomwake Giants, so good. Plus, as a 4-mana 2/4, it's not a terrible blocker. So there's a lot of reasons that we're taking Airy Worshippers, but that's the pick for us. And Nullify is going to be our pick. We've already got decent removal in the forms of Asphyxiate and Bile I don't really need subpar removal in the form of Weight of the Underworld, although it certainly is fine. I would rather have a counterspell, which lets us kind of shore up our 2-drop slot. If we think our opponent's playing an aggressive deck, we can just, nullify the first thing they play and start to gather a presence. It certainly helps our deck to have counterspells. This is insane, by the way, that a Thunderbrute has gone this late. People there's no love for the red stuff like that. That's a really late Noble Quarry as well. Although we're going to grab Floodtide Serpent, I think. It's going to give us a little more bang for our buck if we can get a Grizzly transformation too. So this is the first pack that we opened with our Bile Blight. Came back to us again. Surprised, I guess red is super open because that is a really late Searing Blood. But there's an Exborn Eidolon. It's a perfect 2-drop. Gives us a little bit of bestow. I like it a lot. We're not going to play any of these cards. I'm not playing Evanescent Intellect. It's really bad. Mill tends to be bad. Unless you can do the... There are certain archetypes where Mill is good, but this card is not one how to get there. Unless we were going super, super deep, and we are not. Charging Badger is also equally sucktastic. So the best card in this pack is probably Cyclops of One-Eyed Pass, and that's what we're going to take. If you want to play Impetuous Sunchaser, you can, but we're taking Cyclops. Now this is interesting. We're not taking Sunchaser, but we have a choice between Sphinx's Disciple and Meletus Astronomer, and I'm actually going to take the Astronomer, and my reason is this. We can tutor for enchantments if we target this guy, which means that we can actually dig for stuff like our Oracle's Insight, we can dig for our Guardian, we can dig for our Giants. So, if we eventually get like a Fates Foretold to put on him, that's going to be amazing, and we're going to be able to tutor for a lot of the stuff that we want. So, oh, that gave me that. Okay, I guess it took too long to explain. Guess we're not taking it. Well, that's what we would have taken. We'll take Disciple here, and then Intellect. Man, that sucks. I really wanted that Astronomer. That would have been perfect for the deck, but that's okay. So, some interesting things to talk about here. There is an Ordeal of Erebos, which I like quite a bit. Love the Ordeals. And even in a control deck like this, Ordeals can just come out of nowhere and surprise your opponent. A Lightning Strike, Time to Feed. Those are probably the 3 best cards in the pack, other than a Crow and Horse, which is what we're taking. A Crow and Horse is just phenomenal. I mean, it's just such a powerful alternate win con. We're taking it. Blocks everything, does stuff. Wow. So this pack has everything that I've ever hoped and dreamed. Alrighty then. There is a Return Phalanx, which I want, a Voyage's End, which I want, an Omen Speaker, a Mogus's Marauder, and a Grey Merchant. There's also Sea God's Revenge. I'm actually going to take Gray Merchant. I think we're looking for other ways to win. And I mean, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 different things to cast on turn 2 or lower. I don't think we need Return Phalanx. We've already got our bounce. Mogis Marauder is fine, as is Sea God's Revenge. I mean, Sea God's Revenge is a blowout no matter what happens, but I like Gray Merchant, and Gray Merchant's another way to win the game for us. So Gray Merchant is what we're going to take, although I think this pick is incredibly close between Sea God's Revenge and Gray Merchant. Hopefully we'll wheel like a Omen Speaker or something like that, but there's a Disciple of Phenax. That's what we're going to be taking here. Again, Lash of the Whip is fine, but we've already got some decent removal and ways to control the board. I'd like some hand disruption. Plus, this actually goes really well with our nice little pick of Gray Merchant. There's also a Reverend Hunter and a Stone Shock Giant, both of which are cards that deserve mentioning, I think, as their standouts in their respective colors. And Red's been super open, but not to the point where I'll take it over my really good stuff. Another Mogis' Marauder, which is fine. Although I don't think we're going to try and be the Mogis Marauder type deck. You can come out of nowhere and win with this card, though. But I think we're taking Return Phalanx. It's just better for us. 2-drop, good upside, holds down the field. I mean, I wouldn't mind seeing Benthic Giant Wheel, but Return Phalanx is what we're taking. So, this is a weird pack, because Wingsteed Rider should not be here. Neither should Fnatic. I mean, Soldier or Pantheon, it's not uncommon to see Wheel this far. So that's kind of strange, but I think the pick for us is going to be Mnemonic Wall. We have 2 Hubrises, an Asphyxiate, a Bile Blight, Nullify, tons of good stuff to get back with a Mnemonic Wall. So that's what we're taking. And we get an Ordeal, although I don't know if we necessarily want an Ordeal over our Dissolve. I might actually take Opaline Unicorn. We're really reliant on our higher drop cards, and I'd like to be able to get to the mana to cast them. So we'll take Opaline Unicorn. I'm bummed on passing another Ordeal, but I think Opaline is a better pick. I say as there's another Opaline Unicorn. Excellent. Well done. Love when I eat my words. We'll take Horizon Scholar. I think Horizon Scholar is a legitimate finisher, so we'll take it. Ooh, there's a Vaporkin. I mean, we're not technically the Vaporkin deck. I'm sorry, I'm scrolling down, guys, because I'm going to cut this Floodtide Serpent right now, as it's not going to make the cut. We just don't have any of the fun little cantrip enchantments that work really well with it. We will take Vaporkin, though. It blocks flyers, and it's a nice little... Get some early beats in. I don't really like any of these cards. I'll take Time to Feed. It's the most annoying thing out of this pack. I'm not playing Triton Shore Thief because it's garbage. Ooh, we get another Return Phalanx or Mogis' Marauder. I like Return Phalanx. Yeah, we'll want to hate draft Stone Shock Giant here. Loathsome Cattle Bleepus is fine. If they play Labyrinth Champion, that's okay. Although we could take Dark Betrayal as a potential sideboard. I think there's another black deck in this draft, as black was getting cut pretty hard in our Born of the Gods pack. I'm actually going to take the sideboard card here. A little bit of the Ben Stark school of drafting. So that's what we're going to grab. All in all, this deck is shaping up to be pretty nice. We've got a lot of playables. A lot of strong playables. We can sideboard Kyora's Dismissal too. And we'll take a look at what we do and don't want later on. I'm really happy we got these 2 Return Phalanx as well. We could probably cut that, whatchamacallit, Deepwater Hypnotist if we truly wanted to. I mean, we've got lots of ways to win. And I'm really happy we picked up that Disciple and that Grey Merchant too. And the Crone Horse is a nice alternate win con. Hold down the ground for us. Ooh, Triton Fortune Hunter and Fleet Feather Sandals. I don't think there's a place for Fortune Hunter in the deck, which blows. And I actually think Fleet Feather Sandals is probably a better sideboard. We just don't have anything that targets it. And it gave us Fleet Feather Sandals anyway, so which is fine. I really don't like that it auto picks randomly. I would like to be able to talk to you guys a little bit about why I'm making the picks that I'm making, but I'm sure at this point you're like, shut up! Shut up, you noob. Really, well, although that auto pick with the Meletus Astronomer wound up not making a difference, because we don't really have anything to target the Meletus Astronomer with anyway. So, this is our buddy Lloyd Master who joined us for the draft. I will talk to him in about 2 seconds. Wow, we had 4 people drop from that. That's really sad. That might explain some of the really huge bomb pickups that we got. That bums me out. I don't like it when, when people drop, because I'm trying really hard to put on a good show for you guys. But all right, so what we have is we have 7 spells, 8 spells that I think are going to make our main board, which means we have to cut 4 creatures. Not an ideal situation because we have a lot of good creatures. So, but we definitely can cut 4, I think. The first one to make the cut is Deepwater Hypnotist. We've already got good 2-drops. There's really no point in us having the Deepwater Hypnotist. Man, the rest of this is insane though. Yikes. How am I going to do this? How am I going to do this, he says. I could cut Nullify, essentially, and then just cut 2 creatures. Do I want to cut Nullify, though? I'm definitely leaving Oracle's Insight and Pin to the Earth in. The Asphyxiate as well, just good stuff. Yeah, maybe we do cut Nullify. Well, let's take a look and see what else we can cut. Our 2-drop slot is pretty strong, actually. We've got Bioblights, Hubris, Nullify, Pin to the Earth, Nyxborn Eidolon, Return Phalanx, our Vaporkin. Maybe we cut Vaporkin. It doesn't do that much for our deck, really. It's going to block flyers for us, I guess. Because, we've got 4 or 5 really good stuff to bring back with Mnemonic Wall. Maybe we can cut Mnemonic Wall, although I doubt that's the pick. Yeah, we're going to cut Vaporkin. We're not that tempo-y of a deck, I think. And then I think we can actually cut Nullify, and then we just have to cut 1 more card. Although that does make our Mnemonic Wall worse if I cut Nullify. Interesting. These are interesting things that I am thinking about. Strange days. Strange things are afoot at the Circle K. And I will give you a high 5 if you can name that movie. You think I'm joking, but I will come to you and I will give you a high 5 if you can tell me which movie that's from. So that's 21, 24, 25. So we still have to cut 2 more cards. Man, that sucks. All of our creatures are so good. We have good stuff all the way around. Maybe we can cut Nullify. We've already got Bioblight, an Asphyxiate, and the double blacks. Yeah, maybe it's better to cut Nullify. I'm still going to leave that Mnemonic Wall in though. Simply because it's decent. So that means we just have to cut 1 more creature. I think it has to be a blue creature of some sort, although don't quote me on that. Can we cut Dacromystic? Dacromystic seems like it's just really good for us. Well, what's our 3-drop slot looking like? We've got Opaline Unicorn, Grim Guardian, Black Oak of Adunos, Asphyxiate. Yeah, our 3-drop slot, we probably need some more. That's probably a bad idea to cut any more from that. Yeah, I don't know what else to cut, guys. I'll be perfectly honest with you. You can tell me in the comments what you would do. That would be interesting, because I'm leaning towards cutting Dacromystic or Pharika's Chosen, but I think I just have to cut Dacromystic. Although I like having a little bit of library control. You know what? We're just going to cut Pharika's Chosen. As much as I like having an answer to ground-based Voltrons, we've got answers to ground-based Voltrons already. And I honestly feel like in this kind of a control deck, we need some sort of deck control. All right, so we got to copy this bad boy. I'm looking up. I'm a huge Game of Thrones fan, by the way. Oh, I already have Untap pulled up. Derp. Tupac Jankor was the name of our excellent deck that we drafted, and we just didn't get a chance to do it. Sadly, our opponent bailed, which happens sometimes. That is part of the, problem with Untap. But hey, that happens sometimes. Sometimes people have other things to do with their lives than play Magic, shocking as it might be. So I think we're going to go with the classic 9-8 split. We're going to do 9 Swamp, 8 Islands. That 9 Swamp is going to help us cast those Bioblights and our Asphyxiates, plus our Disciples of Phoenix and our Grey Merchant. So 9 swamp. 8 is land. All right, and we are ready to go. It does need a new draft. It does need a new deck name. That for certain it does. All right, guys, tell you what, I'm gonna come up with an awesome deck name, and I'm gonna surprise you with it in round 1. All right, take it easy, guys, and I'll see you in round 1.